Hey, I'm Keyante H, co-founder of Sunbend Solar, a solar energy installation company dedicated to empowering our communities through the power of solar energy. And you're tuned in with the L Podcast. Hey.
Hi, and welcome to the L Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Y'all already know how we do it. We got a special guest on today. Can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. Hey, I'm Keyante H, co-founder of a solar energy installation company called Sunbend Solar. Our main motivation is empowering our communities through the power of solar energy.
Okay, so let's break this down for the audience just in case anyone doesn't understand. Can you please tell us what is solar energy?
Absolutely. So when we think about the electricity that we are using, the electricity to power these lights, the electricity that charge these microphones, predominantly they are coming from fossil fuels. So it's folks out somewhere in the middle of the oceans digging deep beneath the surface and like pulling up this oil so that they can then use it to burn it, and then that power generates the electricity. But that's killing the planet. That's creating a lot of toxic fumes, putting all that stuff into the environment. And so what's gaining a lot of popularity right now is solar. Solar panels essentially generate electricity from just consuming light from the sun. So it's super environmentally friendly. There's no sort of fumes or exhaust that are put into the planet to continue that pollution. So it's all clean, all renewable, and just a better way to power our lifestyles. How will we survive without electricity? Let's be real. Like our ancestors did, yeah. And people will say that to me. They're like, but like we ain't always need power. But right now in the 21st century, how would we have survived the pandemic if it were not for being able to charge our laptops, our phones, and all our various things to communicate while being social distance? You know, we needed electricity to keep all that going. And so solar enters that conversation because it becomes very relevant to continue powering our lifestyles with a source of energy that is not going to harm us.
Okay, that's really dope. And that's dope. That's such a commodity being in a city like Chicago, a big city. We tend to use gas a lot. We tend to use a lot of electricity.
Yes.
So to bring that factor here is very, very profound. Now, how did you tap into this solar energy creation?
For sure.
Like what made you want to start like using solar panels and things like that?
For sure. So I think starters, like I'm a nerd, you feel me? I like technology and sciences. We've worked together in a part-time job that was around teaching kids robotics. But so I've always just had that interest of science and technology. But what specifically got me interested in solar was, so I was going to DePaul University for business, dropped out, glorified dropout, and was still kind of in that pathway of like, but what am I going to do next? And I was actually fielding two opportunities. One of them was a robotics program to like just for real get into it. And that one required me to pay. It was like $10K for like a whole like course, or maybe $5K, whatever. And then there was the Chicago Urban League in Bronzeville. They had a solar installation training course. And they were paying you to come learn to get this education.
That's dope.
Yes. And so I was like, decisions. I think I'm gonna go with the one that's gonna pay me to learn a new skill. And that was in 2020. Yeah.
Okay. So solar, so I seen on social media you've been building solar panels on houses. So can you break that down for me? Like how big do the solar panels have to be? How does the setup have to go on the houses? Things like that.
For sure. So for housing, and it's funny, we're like getting ready to do more. We've got a larger project coming up next year with a lot of houses in North Lawndale. But
that's amazing.
Basically, so solar panels are like pretty large. Actually, they come in different sizes, but like what standard is, they're like about like my height, about 5'5", 6 feet or so. 6 feet or so, 3 feet wide. And you basically are attaching them to the roof of a house or the roof of any surface that may be needed. because they got to be able to cover enough surface area to receive that sunlight from the sun.
Okay, so what type of clients do you get that request these solar panel, on their houses, and then how much are they?
Yes, there's a ticket. So the type of customers that we work with, and right now my company Sunbend Solar, we're straddling 2 lanes, residential customers, and so homeowners that are forward thinking, that are environmentally conscious, also homeowners that are interested in having more of a say and more of an input in their own energy consumption, because like I mentioned, our infrastructure of our life is built upon electricity. At this point in 2022, we can't function without it. And so folks that are interested in having more of a, for lack of a better word, control over their energy consumption by knowing exactly where it's being generated from. So those are the types of customers interested in these installations, and the cost of that varies per project, per what the customer wants. But I'll say like an average number, we're funneling between, I'll say like $15K is an average cost for a solar energy system, and so that's kind of that lane. And then we also do community projects, which maybe you might ask a separate question about that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm about to go into that.
For sure.
So, since he brought it up, everybody. So, what's so deep and profound about, so you've been working, now correct me if I say it wrong. I do see you working with a refrigerator project that's been going on. Now, what's the name of that project?
So that is the Love Fridge.
Okay, Love project. Fridge, right? So I've been seeing what's so deep, and God is, I believe in God, so I believe in like testimonies and like things like that. Yeah. So I was seeing the love fridge on Instagram already, like before I even tapped and seen you doing it.
They're popular, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, man. Then it's a black guy, black owned, right?
Or it's a whole organization, so it's not really, but like they're. Yes, it's like it's a bunch of people. Okay. So it's not just like one person.
I did see a black guy promoting the love fridge, and I'm like, wow, this is so cool. Just putting a refrigerator in neighborhoods and letting people come as they please, no question asked, and getting food out. So how did you tap into this? Like, where did the connection start?
For sure. So right, I went to the training for a solar installation, and just right out of the gate, I started working on my own projects, doing my own installs, my own projects. Because funny enough, when I did my training back in 2020, if that program started at like the end of January, beginning of February, and then there was like COVID shutdown March 15th. So like my training had got cut in half, if you will. Like we couldn't do as much physical training because everybody was told to not be together. And so that kind of sort of threw off my trajectory, because I probably would have just went to go work for a company, but instead, since the world kind of slowed down, I just started doing my own thing, and one project led to another and started my own company. But so with that all in mind, I came across the Love Fridge. I was like, oh, this is a cool concept. It's one in Inglewood on 63rd and Morgan, where I've like gotten food before I was even like this closely affiliated with them. Had like gotten food from before, and I was like, yo, like it's food in here, it's free. That's crazy. Like that concept was crazy to me, of like I could just get food for free.
Yeah. Like
Chipotle was like down the street. It's like Whole Foods over there. I don't know if anybody frequents Inglewood.
By 63rd and Halsted.
Yeah. Whole Foods over there. So market with Starbucks, Chipotle. I was literally like, I don't want to spend no money on Chipotle right now. And that fridge is right there. Ooh, man.
What kind of food they be having in the refrigerator?
It varies week to week, but at that time there were chef prepared meals put in there. Yeah, so it was like,
look, I thought they was just putting fruit and bananas up in there. They got
they put chef prepared meals. There's like produce in there, there's stuff from the grocery store, because they get a lot of excess from the Aldi's, from the Whole Foods that are like right over there, because I don't know if anybody's surprised that like grocery stores have a lot of excess stuff that's still good, but they would throw that stuff out. So they be grabbing stuff from there, putting it in the fridge. So it's a lot of different stuff. But so I was just over there one day because I still work a part-time job at that time, especially just like dealing with like garden and growing food and whatnot. And so I was over there at that garden space and I saw somebody stocking it and I was like, yo, like this is so cool. Like what y'all do? Like I'm gonna try and figure out a way to be like relevant to this because I'm not hurting like that when it comes to money and needing to get food, but I'm just like imagining, you know what I'm saying, somebody that's really like for real was in a jam and they needed, you know, just one free meal, and that really changed my whole like day, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I know this is a very profound resource. So I was asking them questions, went to a couple of their events. I was like, yeah, I do solar. They were like, oh, we were actually thinking about having these things be independently powered so that they can just depend on their own power source, because that's a bill right there. Like plugging a refrigerator into somebody's business or house, that's additional cost on your electric bill. So they were already thinking about that. So the partnership just made so much sense.
That's a blessing. That was divine timing. That's so deep.
Yeah.
That's so deep. So where you from?
From the South Side, you feel me? From Auburn, Gresham. Yeah.
What high school you went to?
I went to Whitney Young. Shout out to Dolphins.
Okay. Dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. Okay, so when it comes to like science and like math and everything, like what keeps you passionate about trying to incorporate your science and math and then trying to just go through your daily life living?
Yeah. No, for sure. Love that question. So I was to just kind of like make a reference, I was speaking on this panel kind of about like community activism like a couple weeks ago, and there's different ways to go about helping your community and being of service to the world at large. And I know that my way is through kind of like an engineering technology mindset. Like I want to help as many people as I can through what I know is my preferred skill set, right? Because we all got different talents and different ways in which we can be of service. Because like I'm not necessarily one that's gonna get outside and go like protest down the street, you feel me? Shout out everybody that do, because we need, you know what I'm saying, we need the bodies, we need the voices in the streets. But that's not my vibe per se. But I find myself like going through community and going through the world and be like, oh man, here's a problem, how can we have this fixed? So in the case with the Love Fridge, they originally had a power source from the neighbor. They just ran an extension cord out their window, and then after a little bit of like distress over how they were going to continue to get paid for their like the fact that they had an additional refrigerator on electric bill, some issues, they discontinued their offering of power in that fridge. So there was like a problem, like, oh, here's a resource in the community that's feeding people now no longer of service. So like brain went to like, dang, what's some way that we can continue this going? And so solar, with my background, was a way to just continue helping. So like I just see technology as a way to help. I see it as a way to just help our people in ways that how do I want to say this? There's this quote, right, that says some of the greatest technology is indistinguishable from magic. And we all watch movies about superheroes and witchcraft and wizardry and all these various fantastical worlds where there's a hero that saves the day with their powers and whatnot. And I think that technology can be a hero because it does like resemble this sense of magic. Like solar panels specifically, people ask me very frequently, they're like, okay, but like how does it work? Because I don't see any sort of like, where does it start? Like the sun, like how does that make sense? Because it feels very magical,
you do got to
right?
be a science person to break that down.
Yeah, because it is like I can get deep, but it's like we ain't got to get all that deep. But I'm just like just
if you didn't pay attention in science class,
it's all right, you know. And it's just like these things very much so, right, provide that sense of magic and that sense of fantastical to just help our daily issues, right? So that's why I love it, because I think there's so many ways that we can continue helping people. Like we want to do hopefully this can be a next year project, but like we're doing Love Fridge stuff right now, right? But we want to do like homeless shelter things, where like y'all know where it'd be like, y'all heard of Tent City or like the like populations where you see like under viaducts, a lot of people like living in tents and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Like we want to do like solar energy systems to like set up like near them so that they
That'd
can
be
have
dope.
access
You know,
to power.
Inglewood Barbie might hop on that.
Who?
Inglewood Barbie. She's
Inglewood Barbie. Yes, I've heard of Inglewood Barbie.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We had her on the show maybe like a year ago. That'd be dope. I'm pretty sure she wouldn't turn that down.
Yeah, because it's like, you know what I'm saying? You live in, like, we benefit from electricity so much, but like we all like privileged enough to like have a house where you can, you know, plug into. So it's like, imagine if like folks that don't have houses and are like living in tents in these communities, if they had access to power for having whatever various needs fulfilled, you know? So look, I be talking so I forget what the question was, but
Nah, that's good. You answered it though. That's really good. So I see I be, you know, scrolling through stuff. I seen you chilling with Jamal Green, our mayor candidate. You know, so how did that relationship come about, or what y'all up to? Like
Jamal Green. Jamal Green. No, shout out to homie. I've been, before I was doing solar, I was working with him when he ran for mayor in 2018. Yeah, 4 years ago. Math. But and so just because I was like, dang, like somebody young and black doing something like profound, I just want to be in the know and want to be a part of it. And since then, we've just stayed in contact. And so he knew I was doing solar, and we've just like linked up and have been talking, and he's assisting, like kind of like helping us find like and identify pockets for more opportunities for projects and things. So he's almost kind of like an advisor, essentially. Oh yeah, he is an advisor.
Look, he rolling his eyes
to Sunbend Solar. So very, very great man, doing a lot of great things for a community. Has a very clear vision and a very like beautiful vision for how this world can be more equitable for us all, can be more peaceful, right? Less violent for us in Chicago and the world for sure, but definitely specifically in Chicago as he runs for mayor during this term. So I believe in him.
So you feel like our world can still make it throughout this global warming crisis? Look at you coming in doing some solar energy, and we like in the trenches right now in the world.
The world is messed up, man. Like, no, the world really is. This is like, we're relatively privileged over here in like this country as far as like not facing too many. I mean, you do have like the East Coast, they be getting hit with hurricanes, and then like the West Coast be having fires, and then they be having droughts, and then they like, I don't know if y'all remember, like snowed in Texas like I think a year or two ago, and then they went crazy. And they only had like 5 inches of snow, bro. They went
the
crazy.
The airport shut down and everything.
They couldn't do nothing. But so I mean, I ain't gonna say that we're necessarily super privileged per se, but like it get crazy all across the world as far as just all these natural disasters and things. So I definitely am in it. I'm you know, in it to help preserve. I ain't gonna say we're gonna fight the climate, because you know, but we're going to help mitigate the harm that it does to our world. Because this really is like, I'm doing work in Inglewood right now. We're gonna transition to doing housing work in North Lawndale, but like it's so much, you know, bigger.
I know. That's why I said the world in the trenches right now.
it's a world thing. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as just needing assistance with just mitigating all of the. There's no cursing out here. I was gonna say all of the bad things that have just like caused a lot of decay and issues in our world. Be it climate change, be it just like people in power making wrong choices and not thinking about those that aren't in power or aren't in their place.
You so passionate.
It's like it's so much. I be telling people all the time, it's like it's so much to help with, and for those that are, because not everybody's interested in doing like activism work or helping community and whatever, and that's totally fine. But for those that are, it's like it's 1,000,000,001 problems. Just pick your one that you want to do, and then just stick with it and go, and trust that like, because you can be exhausted, right? Trying to think about everything and think about
for real
healthcare, think global warming.
You ain't got to think about
housing,
yourself too.
Think about ourselves. Think about kids. Think about violence. Like it's so many things to think about. I'm just like, find your one thing that you like the most, and then connect with homies that's doing work in other areas. So then they restore your confidence and faith that know like, dang, okay, it's people over there handling that issue. It's people over there handling that issue. I'm handling this issue, and we all are collectively making the world better.
That's what's up. That's a great way to end the interview.
For sure.
Thank you so much for coming on to the L podcast. I love your passion. We always been just so close. You got good energy. I'm so proud of everything that you've been doing, and I know like this is going to be very rewarding for you and prosperous. Just stay focused. Don't let nothing distract you, and just keep doing what you're doing. And thank you for being on the show this week. Thank you so much.
Love it.
All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the L podcast. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow, and tell everyone where they can reach you.
Yes. So you can find me on any social media platforms at Keyante, Keyante _H. Those are my personal platforms. You can follow my company, Sunbend Solar. That's SUNBEND. Solar, SOLAR. Same name on all platforms. We're going to be posting all of our projects, all of our initiatives, how to go green, how to maintain the environment, all that great stuff. So please, if you're interested, follow us. We can use more support. If you're an electrician, if you're a carpenter, if you are in any sort of relevant building, coding, robotics, anything, you will be more than needed. So please find us and reach out. Thank you.
All right. Y'all heard them. Thank you for tuning in to this episode. See y'all next week.
Hey.